All right, and welcome back, everybody. Hopefully, everybody had a nice lunch break. Gonna get ready for our second half of Swiss here. I believe we have one of our players already picked out for stream as our North America Nationals champion, Ryan Chen.
Who?
Who? Who indeed?
Viridian?
Viridian. Viridian indeed, the green person himself. And his opponent will be Angelo Blanchard. Sounds good. Now I know what Viridian's on for today. We'll see what Angelo's on. But Viridian's on Mono Earth, I believe Shark. This is a deck he's been playing a lot this season. Definitely feels like his kind of comfort pick for this season. He's definitely had some pretty good success with it. A lot of top cuts, some near misses, but a lot of consistency out of it.
Yeah, I also think he's on Mono Earth. I don't know if it's Shark. I have no idea. But I know it's Mono Earth. And I'm curious because I haven't seen his deck, but I'm curious if he's doing any of the new like
Emmett
Chithlodius stuff. Not like to turbo it out, but Emmett still works with like Ignis and stuff like that.
All right, so I see Angelo's deck name Away with the Chaos. I wonder if this just means he's seen enough chaos at locals. He's tired of it. And then of course Mono Earth from Ryan Chen.
Yeah, I will say that I think the two most prominent colors to beat the Chaos decks are Lightning and Water. So, and that a lot of that's because of the bursts. And here we see a Claris. So this is Mono Earth, and
I think it's relevant that we see the Lev 6 as well as just giving him. I mean, knowing Viridian, that card is in there for the EX burst. Casting it's one thing, but definitely the EX burst can be very, very powerful, especially if he was worried at all about Chaos decks. I think going into a blind format, that's a pretty safe card to try to splash into someone deck. Angelo is starting with just a Shinra backup.
So we did see in those three cards. Okay, so it's a Water Lightning deck. It looks like. I wasn't sure if I was wondering if it was a Mono Lightning deck splashing Lev 6 also.
Just two different mono decks, just splashing some very powerful EX bursts. No, this deck looks like it's going to take advantage of a good number of bursts. Looking through the list, probably about 15 to 20 bursts for Angelo's side. I'm sure Viridian's on a pretty comparable level, probably about 15.
So we got Sam Prime last round, playing a mostly mono water deck, splashing a couple cards. And now we have Ryan Chen this round playing a mostly mono earth deck, splashing a couple off-color cards. I think this is like really cool and interesting, and I wonder how much we're going to see of this in the future. Like, this is... It's really interesting. I mean, you see decks like this branch out to get additional resources for their game plans.
Yeah, it's interesting because for some of these mono decks, it does allow you the speed to be able to play against some of the more aggressive decks, but splashing those other cards can give you that reach to kind of get all the way to the finish line. Make sure that you actually have enough oomph to get there. All right, Viridian pulling out a miner, gets a leather worker. That guy can come out for free. As long as he has 3 backups, he's going to slam it. And another one immediately on 5 backups. 1 mana Ingus. That is a great turn from our NA champ.
He always has it. He always has the free backups. He always has it.
The free backups there into the 1-cost Ingus. That turn could not have lined up better for him there. Very powerful stuff. Ingus, of course, also able to tour the Warrior Light. As long as it's any Earth forward, it does have Earth in it, in addition to those other colors, and then he can play it out with a Leo. I'm not sure if he has a Leo in hand, but he does have one in the break, and now he has access to Noctis with the current format and a bunch of other options, so it'll be interesting to see. Although Angelo knows that, going to take the Leo removed from game. Definitely one of the downsides of the mono Earth deck is when people know what's going on is as soon as those Leos hit the break zone, if you can remove them and kind of lock the Earth player out from being able to cast some of their multicolor stuff, can be very debilitating for them.
Yeah, so I'm going to assume that Ryan has Leo because he played Epitaph to get Chelinka, and I feel like right now that Chelinka is not castable, so I think he already had the Leo.
Yep, so there's Leo into Wool. Yep. And now here's a chance for like a follow-up Tidus. Yep, and that's probably what we're going to see here. Very strong play out of the Mono Earth deck, and against Mono Lightning, there's not much you really have to worry about, stopping this play. Of course, against Water, he could still have like Kuchulain, but it does not look like he has it. If he had Kuchulain the Leo before the Tidus effect resolves, making it so Ryan could not pay for it, but he could. So this is just almost like an embarrassment of riches on Viridian's side. Once that Tidus goes off, it's just very, very powerful. Although it looks like Leo's going to get taken down by RNA EX. It's definitely not a bad EX, but Ryan's probably still very happy with his board.
Yeah, damage is already done. Giving her both a forward and a backup, and just flooding the board. That was a really, really good turn for Ryan.
Yeah, someone was commenting that he had searched the Kuchulain and it was in hand, but his last card was a lightning card and he was tapped out. So no capability of casting that Kuch, which a little unfortunate for Angelo, because that's one of the things that Ryan's mentioned multiple times. Going for that 8 CP Tidus play and missing with it due to however your opponent can mess with it can be one of the most devastating things you can do with your own board, right? If you just happen to not have the 8 characters, or if you don't have the water CP, or if they Amat the effect after you paid it, 8 CP going down the drain is pretty hefty in this format. But
yeah, it's very
once
brutal.
It resolves, it definitely leaves you in a very dominant board position. Especially this early on. I mean, Ryan's on turn 4 or 5? I think it's turn 5 when he Tidus. And this is just 5 with so much in play. Right, Hooded Man. Angelo trying to make his Warrior of Light at home.
The fair Warrior of Light.
Yeah. Comes in, untaps his backups, draws him a card. Just a little bit different on some of the other decks.
What did we draw?
Something for 4 CP, it looks like. Oh, no. Going 6 CP, gonna Luna Freya. Okay. Now what could we hit? It's like the best thing to hit here off of Luna Freya.
Love 6 is okay.
Yeah, it's honestly
It kills
unfortunately
Tidus.
only okay.
Yeah.
Lenora. I mean, at least it's a draw 2. Cypher is not terrible.
I think I'd take Reeve over
Lenora.
Yeah. Just because I don't think I want Palom or Porom in this scenario, because Warrior Light would... Well, I guess the Lightning Palom would live. But it also doesn't do very much on the board.
Yeah. So he is going to go ahead, take the Lenora, trigger it. Looks like he's getting the negation for him. Will be difficult to get that guy out and active with Warrior of Light in play, so he's got to come up with something for
that +2 just turned into a -2.
Am I missing something?
Did we not?
This forum?
Did Ryan not shoot it?
I must be missing something here.
That's very interesting.
So here's a Genova synthesis. So
okay,
it looks like it's probably not gonna matter, I guess. I don't know why we wouldn't just shoot end of last turn though. But that is going to clean up that board, and Ryan's in a very, very dominant position. You're gonna need a lot of help here from Angelo's side. This is what I mean, that Earth deck just really having that extension. Angelo's down on cards in hand. It just kind of ran out of steam a little bit. But the mono Earth deck definitely still trucking. Looks like he drew Lightning and something else. Lightning definitely going to come in. Dull the Warrior of Light. Draw a card. I think that's a 5 CP Odin. So he can deal with one of these forwards, but as long as Ryan deals with...
He has a Kadash, so he can't play the Odin.
Oh no. Well, once he goes to 5 damage, he can shoot it, I guess. If he doesn't play the Kadash. Ryan, of course, still with a full grip, so there's a lot of options on what his side of how to get those forwards out of the way. So if Angelo doesn't deal with anything in play, it's more than likely that Ryan will have game on being able to push through.
Also, look at Ryan's board. There's a bunch of 9Ks and the Warrior Light 10K, right? Like, just beefy bodies at this point is just good enough, you know? Like, Ryan's forwards did what they were supposed to do, and then they're just chilling and they're big.
Yep, absolutely.
I think a lot of Angelo's forwards are not 9Ks.
Yeah. It looks like we passed the turn. So on board, technically Ryan has game, but we'll see what else he goes for to try to push through here. 6 CP Une, yep, I like that.
And Lena probably, yep.
And here's the Odin. It's gonna come out, stop something, but there are just too many attackers. It's like 2 more attackers after this. I think Angelo is doing the math, realizing he pretty much has to get lucky on another EX burst. So might as well take it first. He did! Okay. Well, so this can bounce the Titus and get him something else back. And then we can Odin the Ingus.
You cannot Odin the Ingus because it's cost 6.
Oh, it's limited 5. Yes. Oh no. Well, I guess you can bounce the Ingus because you have to, and then Odin the Titus. Not ideal, but... gotta do what we gotta do to live here. Alright, yep. So we did go with a bounce on the Ingus. Angelo looking
about it.
Yeah, Angelo looking a little like, yeah, well, I know it's not great, but it's what I gotta do.
Ryan knows what this means. He knows he has an Odin.
Yep.
That's the only thing that makes sense here.
He has successfully bought a turn, but how much can he do on this next turn? He pretty much needs a full-on board wipe, and Water Lightning, I don't see that happening. Start out with the Lightning again. To cycle and draw a card. We didn't see any like big value engine kind of get set up from Angelo, so it's kind of leaving him a little run down at the moment. I believe that's a Thancred we see off the top.
I think it is 2, possibly.
Interesting. I don't think it does much for us at this point.
It is a Thancred, yeah.
Yeah, looking at the total of Angelo's hand, I don't see any routes to non-lethal.
I think we got a Cloud Leo, but we're still in trouble.
Yeah, I think if I am Angelo, I am playing for tiebreakers at this point. I know they don't matter too much, but I think I'm Kadajing Une and just trying to attack with Lightning, or Kadajing Leo, one of them, and just hoping that Ryan doesn't block just for an extra point of damage.
Kadaj, Une, Cloud the Leo, and then attack, probably.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking. I think that's the only way of even, having a leg up on, because as soon as these forwards untap, he's just already toast. Ryan checking if his opponent wants to get rid of his own Kadaj. He says, no thank you, I think I'll need it this turn.
Oh, he's gonna cast, he just drew Love 6, he's gonna cast it. 100%.
Yep. So Love 6 for max value here, bouncing a forward and getting rid of a dark card. 2 for 1. And gonna make going for game extremely simple. Attack with the Warrior of Light, kill the Forum first, and that will be all she wrote. Very clean, quick game from Ryan Chen. Oh. And that'll wrap it up. So very, very quick game from these players. And honestly, is kind of how I expected this matchup to go. The Mono Earth deck, it really is such a value-heavy deck, and the Water Lightning deck usually plays with such tight margins on its CP, where it really needs to get the maximum out of every single one. And the Mono Earth deck just ignores all of that. It's just like, it's when you start playing the Rainbow, you just get to do whatever you want. That pivotal turn of getting the Titus off was very, very important. Ryan, of course, knowing that his opponent couldn't Kuchulain despite having it in hand, that came down to like the biggest turn ever, because that just swung every bit of the momentum in his favor, and his opponent was never able to claw it back.
Yeah, a lot of Ryan's cards are, he had a lot of powerful turns where he played one card, or he played like 4 or 5 CP worth of cards that netted him the card. So like Genova Synthesis was 8k the board, and that was like the only thing he played. He went like Leo, Warrior Light, and then Titus, right? Like all that not only gave him like board presence, but drew him cards. He also like the Ingus, like that's just a cheap effective threat that gets you multiple cards, multiple bodies. So
and a 9K body, as you mentioned, and
yes,
that the fact that his opponent's board was always 7, 8K or lower, and Ryan's sitting there with multiple 9Ks in play, feeling pretty comfy.
Yeah, Ryan basically played a bunch of cards that said like ETB, draw a card, or search, or whatever, right? +1. And his opponent, unfortunately, didn't have very many cards that do that. They do on like attacks, or, you know, Adia is probably another one that would be good. But again, 9K is not 8K. So there's just a lot more like grindiness in the mono earth deck, and we got to see it in that game.
Absolutely, yep. Just still kind of able to go over the top of the other decks. One thing we didn't see though is any chaos or art. So it may just be that he has opted to just kind of go back to just a mono earth variant.
I don't know which one I saw, but I did see Emmett or Hythodius. I'm assuming he just plays both. Maybe I'm wrong though. He could just be playing Emmett to search for Angus, and that might be
8K the board. Yeah, that might be strong enough alone.
Also for Une too, right? So.
Oh yeah. What other 6 CP characters are in the list? I can't think of.
If he's playing Minfilia, there's Minfilia.
I'd be surprised if he had Minfilia, as the backup line in that deck is just so tight. With him playing the miners plus the king searchers plus the free backups. Shadow Lord.
Oh, if he's playing, which he's got to be playing it, right? Limit Break Noctis. That's a card also. And Neo X stuff, that doesn't really matter.
He was not in my mono earths. I usually opted for at least one copy of the Neo X stuff, but he was not as big of a fan of that card as I was. So I personally do like it, just to help in those like emergency situations. It can definitely buy you a lot of time or get you out of, you know, the stickiest of situations. Another big benefit of Neo X stuff in like the current format is, you know, we mentioned monsters, and if he does have Neo X stuff and was concerned about monsters, we saw him search the Chelinka, which can also deal with monsters. So if he was concerned about monsters in this format, I would probably be interested to at least include one Neo X death. If he doesn't have Chaos in the deck and Arc, he'll have a little bit of extra room. Be interested to see if he did find room to put that Neo back in there.
Yeah, right. Usually there's like a forward that's a board wipe, right? Like either Neo X Death or Shadow Lord or Titan.
Yeah, or I mean maybe he's got both Shadow Lord and the Neo. Would be interesting, but I personally think I would be leaning on a Neo right now in the current format. Even though it does break your backups, it's just against the right decks at the right time, that can just be so backbreaking. It does not matter about losing 2 backups. And sometimes you guys get those backups right back. You know, like I've had times where I broke the backups and I'm like staring at my hand, I got 2 leather workers anyways. So those come back into play.
You also have Limit Break Luso now, which can get you those leather workers if they're in your deck. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
It's interesting for sure.
Alright, so it looks like we have wrapped up our camera game here pretty quickly. The players still will be playing for another little bit, and I think we may go on a quick break here until the next round. And we will tune back in for round 5, our penultimate round of the day. Already trucking along here. But Ryan Chen improves to 4-0, Angelo 3-1. Many other players doing well. I know Jeff Curon 3-1, Sergio Garcia, I think, was 4-0. Maybe 3-1. We'll figure that out. But stay tuned, and we'll be back in just a little bit. All right, it looks like we are about to go for our next round. Perfect. All right, thanks everybody for tuning back in with us. We got our penultimate round of Swiss coming at us here. We have some literally spicy decks, as one is listed. KP, you have a good little break there.
Yeah. So we got a little something here. We have, I believe it's Richard on this the Emmett Hythloideus deck versus
Perfect.
Junior on a Fire Water. I believe it's Summons with the 5-drop Una.
Okay.
So two pretty off the wall archetypes.
Trying to break in for the new format for sure.
Yeah, I'll say this: I played against the Firewater Una deck before, and there is tons of removal, and the deck like refuels itself between like the Firion and the Una when you cast summon, you draw a card. So, I'm interested to see how this goes.
Yeah, I personally am very interested in this Emmett deck, but as you mentioned, the Firewater deck's no shortage of firepower to be able to put a stop to that combo. So I'm curious if he'll even try to go for it, or if that's where our end goal is still lying. If knowing that our opponent's going to have all these access to tools of removal and stuff may change Richard's mind, so he may not go as heavy for it. And we can see on Richard's side, he does have that Regis that we spoke about in hand still. And of course, turn 1, Junior going ahead and looking for that Una. So this is definitely very powerful. So that card can be used to draw a lot of cards.
Yeah. So, what the water Una is the one I was talking about, but this one you can pick up multiple times because your deck's full of summons, right? So you'll be able to special a ton because you can remove 3 summons from your break zone to return the light Una back to your hand. So I don't know how many light Unas this deck plays, but like the goal is to play the 5-drop Una and sorry, I got distracted by those 2 Luminous Pumas that got sent to the graveyard.
Luminous Pumas?
Luminous Puma! Oh my goodness. Okay, look, it's destined. I have to play this deck, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty inclined that you should. It's got Pumas in it. It's got math that you can work out. It's effectively a Leo. I mean, it's got your name on it for sure.
Oh man. I mean, look, I'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see what kind of shot it can take here. Both of these players are 4-0, so that's something to keep in mind. Both of these decks have been performing quite well so far for the day. Pilots have been piloting it well. Only one of them can walk away with the win here, though, so we'll see what kind of comes out on top.
Yeah,
and there's that Una that you mentioned.
Yes.
Nice and full art.
Oh yeah. I will say, just look, I've never played the matchup before, but I think this would probably be. I think Firewater's favored here because of having access to Kuchulin and Amaterasu, and I think those are good ways to break up what Richard's trying to do. And,
absolutely.
But the issue that might come up for Junior is after stopping what Richard does, you got to put the game away. You got to end the game. And a lot of times these high summon count decks, they don't play very many forwards. So if Richard gets a couple more turns to set up, he might be able to go off and pull off his combo again.
Absolutely.
So we'll see.
I do like the fact that he has the Firewire Furion in there. It's both a good way of chip damaging in, but also having like some long-term staying power since it's drawing cards, and it can be a little deceptively thick when you have like a Firewire card you can pitch and it becomes a 9k. And I do see a Lua going into the bin there as well. That obviously being another thing Richard's going to use to try to enable this combo and just go ahead and give haste to his entire board.
I think this is a Cleon, yeah.
Ooh, I like Cleon here. Having access to that is very, very, very relevant in this matchup. It's going to put a damper on JR's game plan.
Yeah, so JR had the Amaterasu. I don't know if he could play it or not, but it's kind of
like I kind of like Amaing the realm for sure if we did have it.
There's a
I
chance
think he would have had
card...
to have give up the Furion for it.
Yeah, there's 6 cards. Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if the light card. You would have discard Furion and the water Yuna, and then be left with light Yuna. But the issue is like it's still not fully stopping what Richard's doing, and it is kind of stopping what you're doing. But now you're in that spot of like, okay, this is high risk. Like we got to do something. So now I think we might still have enough fire cards. We can throw away this Brynhilder if we need to in order to Ama when Richard goes for the combo. So we'll see. This kind of scenario, this is very typical, I feel like. I don't want to say that JR is like a control deck, per se. Kind of is, kind of isn't. But this is combo versus control at its core, right?
Yeah, and Richard, the Cleon being such a good disruption for that control, though.
Yeah, Richard gets to decide when to go, and which it kind of feels like it's now.
Yeah, and JR has to be ready when that happens. Cleon, of course, a card we haven't seen too terribly often, but it's a very powerful but kind of narrow card, negating the next summon no matter who casts it, and drawing, breaking itself and drawing a card. It's really nice. It's that proactive counter spell, and as we mentioned, there aren't very many ways of removing monsters, especially not removing a monster without casting the summon. We did see one option from Ryan Chen in the Mono Earth deck, the Chelenka, but there are not many other options in the game, let alone ones that we see commonly in the format. So usually if you play out that Cleon, it's pretty safe. It will eventually just negate a summon. And some decks may have the option to just kind of ignore that and just play like a non-summon game plan, which of course is Richard's goal, but for a deck like JR, he has no way of really interacting without his summon, so he had to go ahead and pop that Cleon.
I think what Richard's deciding, I think he has a Thornton and is debating. Oh, can he play it? I don't know if he can play it or not. For a second, I thought that
he
was
only
a
has.
poem.
I did too.
I was like, if that's a poem to get back the Ama,
that would be good.
Bad.
Yeah.
That's not good for Richard then. But it wasn't.
It looks like he is safe. Yeah. I don't
know
what else.
Oh no, we can Regis back Emmett. That's what he's thinking about.
Oh, okay. We have a Regis in hand. We have the Earth and the Light. It seems pretty worthwhile. A little surprised we're opting to not.
Because I think Richard's hoping to find another way
to do it all in the same turn.
Yes.
No.
The Regis in play is a little bit of a liability because you can't get another Regis on the combo turn.
Okay.
That being said, you're also not guaranteed another Regis either. So it's an interesting spot for sure. I don't know which line is correct. But that being said, even if you don't go for the combo, having 3 forwards in play is not too unreasonable.
Yeah, it's like at least threatening. And those other forwards would be a little bit more substantial. You know, the Emmet being an 8K. Regis is an 8K as well, I believe. So. Okay. Looks like we drew a jellyfish and
no Montleonis. I thought the Montleonis was a Jack Garland for a second.
Oh, okay. So we have 2 Montleonis in hand. Okay, that makes sense. So now, unfortunately, we're kind of forced to play something, which kind of leaves us in the spot where I do wish we had played the Regis last turn. Although we can always opt for like Limit Break Noctis or something. See him grabbing 3 cards. That might be where we're going.
I think that is where we're going.
It's definitely one of those things where it's like in hindsight, knowing what your draws ended up being this turn. Maybe it was correct to have played the Regis last turn, but not knowing, you know, there definitely were some draws that he could have had that
we can go for it right here.
A little bit more active. Yep. So we're gonna tutor. We're gonna test the water and see if JR has another response, and if he doesn't, we're going to spin that wheel and see what comes of it. Yep. So. Here she comes. She's a little cheaper. Activate the Goblin. She has haste. We're going to activate it. Put them both on the break zone. Look at the top 4. And here is our big... Did we draw from the Goblin? I believe so.
We did.
Okay.
Don't forget to shuffle. You're supposed to shuffle. When the deck was randomized, but you know, it does say shuffle it on the card.
Alright, a Shadow Lord. So we missed on 1, but we do get the Matoya, the Vanille, and a Shadow Lord. Shadow Lord not going to do too much.
So we can pick up 3 cards here, or we can remove the break zone and pick up 2 cards?
2? I think I'm opting to just pick up 3. I don't know how much I care about my opponent's break zone here.
Wait. Can we get back Regis? And
that's what I'm
things to cast the Regis and then play the Regis to
that's
res.
What I'm thinking.
And then try to go off the next turn again.
That's where I would want to be if I can.
Interesting. My original thought was not the Regis, by the way. It was just get the 2.
Get the 2.
And then go for it again next. Well, you wouldn't have haste, but
he would have 5 forwards in play, so he doesn't necessarily need haste. He can just maybe kill opponent with getting a Montleonis.
Montleonis costs 6. It's the same thing. Montleonis back or Regis, right? And then Regis. That's actually better.
Yeah, he's a step ahead of us.
Yeah. Oh, are we doing the break zone though? I'm curious.
I'm sure he has gotten a good amount of practice with this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This is looking really interesting and up my alley. Just throw that out there.
All right, so we got our cards in hand. Are we just going to pitch them and play the Mont? Yep, we are. Okay, so Mont, I assume this is definitely gonna pull out the Regis.
That's my guess.
Yep, and then that's going to pull out the 2. And then we get to draw. And now
we get the search,
we've set up... Well, search, yeah. We have set up for lethal. We have quite a good number of bodies here. Alright, so this is exactly kind of what we wanted to see. Is we wanted to see the capabilities of this deck. And Richard, despite his opponent playing a good amount of permission between Kuch lanes, Amaterasu, little bit of removal here and there, he's powering through it regardless.
Yeah, and this is what I wanted to see on both sides, right? Like, JR had a lot of interaction, but there's no threats, right? No damage has been dealt. A lot of he's been able to stop what Richard's doing, but that's not enough if you can't put the game away. So now this is only like, you know, a 1 turn, 2 turn gap per se, but it still matters. We gotta progress the board state kind of a thing, and because Richard's gonna do it whether JR does it or not.
Absolutely. And so we do see that Galleon Beast coming out from JR, being able to remove at least one of the forwards out, give him a pretty sizable body. It's still a tough spot that JR is in. He's looking at a lot of scary stuff coming down the board. Of course, being able to play anything, then can go ahead and shoot the Vincent for 8k, as long as it's a 6 CP character or higher. So we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he could potentially put him to 6 here unless he has a haste. Yeah. He does, but he can't play it. And he does have that Renoa that we had mentioned earlier as well.
Right. But at this point, I mean, it's just mono earth things, right? You're just big dudes.
Yeah, you're just carrying big dudes sideways.
Yeah.
Your opponent's not likely on board wipes. So, although we're giving him quite a few EX burst here, so we did trigger a Goblin. Now we're triggering Selfie, getting back a Fire Forward. All right. Richard says, I'm not scared. I'm going to keep testing the waters, right into another EX burst. 3 in a row. And since he cannot get lethal this turn, I do wonder at what point Richard will stop. He says, I'm not worried about stopping. I'm going to go ahead and just keep cranking it. Alright, so he has put his opponent to 6. Now the interesting thing about this is even if Richard's entire board does get dealt with, he does play cards like Alua and Goblin, so he can give almost anything haste. He just ever has to clear the path for 1 attacker. It's pretty easy for him to do from this this board state. Oh, it does look like those last 2 points of damage were double Sirens, so those were no EX help. Yeah, if I am Richard, I'm feeling pretty good about where this game went. It was very, very impressive to see him, you know, combo off with such tight resources, but it's the whole combo just kind of feeds into itself.
Yeah, and also, you know, JR had interaction. JR did do things, like, but it still wasn't enough. That to me is a sign of a good combo deck.
Yeah, I think a lot of it does cycle back to that early realm, though. Not being able to Amaterasu that, I think, left him in a pretty rough spot.
Yeah, and I think that might be a little... I'm not trying to sound derogatory here, but like inexperience kind of thing, because, you know, new cards, new interactions. When's the last time you've seen Cleon played?
A very long time. Like, genuinely, probably 5-6 sets at best, maybe even longer.
So,
and usually you see it kind of like pop up in one deck for a second, and then you never see it again for the whole format.
So it makes me wonder if JR is aware that Richard had
that was even an option. Yeah, knowing that could have been one of the things he pulled out. Like, yeah, that may have been one of those hindsights. Ooh, I need to leave this open to be able to stop a Cleon. So we got the Furion. We're going to go ahead and get the Furion attack.
Honestly, this Furion might be pretty good. It's a pretty good blocker with first strike, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Against all these beefy boys, turning into a 9k first strike untap is definitely something that Furion may be needing to do.
Was that a Sahagin Chief?
Yeah,
it was.
We love it.
Oh my goodness. How can I not play this deck? I have to play this deck. It's got all my favorite cards in it.
Right, and we see a Yuna special get used. So definitely does more than enough damage.
Yep, 3,000 damage for every summon in your brick zone. Which it looks like 4 summons separated.
Yeah, I do like being able to tutor that out with the Princess Goblin to use it for the S. That way you're not playing your light card, right? You're still getting the benefit of tutoring a card off Princess Goblin, but not actually having to play your light card.
Yeah,
right?
It's a really
and a
cool
Braska.
interaction.
Braska gonna go ahead and shoot down the Mont Leonis. JR trying to do as much board control as possible. Really doesn't want to give his opponent another turn here, but it looks like it's about to happen.
Yeah, we need to be careful here shooting things down. We have to keep a fire card for first strike on the Furion, and we also need to like pump the Furion twice to make it a 9k. So we need to be very careful here.
Well, we need to get water card to untap it too, because it's currently tapped. So we have to have water and fire. So we're going down to one card. We're gonna draw one off of. I think we drew fire. Does that mean we can't untap? Oh, that could be disastrous.
No, we can Braska special twice. We have a Braska and a Brynhilder, so that still counts.
Okay.
But it's still a little bit dangerous, and
it's definitely not ideal. I really wanted to be in the state where I could untap the Furion and double block or block infinitely. Too.
Oh my goodness! Is this another Warrior Light deck where you
it's
don't?
Not a Warrior Light. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to see it. All right, I'm curious to see what Richard brings to the table here.
Yeah, he's definitely got to be thinking about, even though he doesn't know what's in JR's hand, it could be a Firewire card, right? So he has to kind of treat it with that respect.
Yeah, I was curious if Cloud or Victoria were in Limit Break, but I can't quite glimpse the hand. Okay, there is an ice card. So we can Victoria the Braska just to start.
I think it was Surges. It may have also been a Victoria, but
Surges works
pretty
too.
sure I saw Surges.
Well, Surges need to move one of the forwards out of the way.
Yeah.
Because
but if he could untap that Furion, which he can't, which he doesn't know though.
Right.
That's the real big spot. Like if JR's hand's double fire water card could be just so bad for Richard.
I also wonder if I don't know what else is in the deck monster wise, but do you just play the Realm? Just slow it down?
Yeah, yep. That is what we're going for.
Sure.
Right. We get to dig and see what else is left in the deck. I assume we were thinking this time of like, do we
so if there's a jellyfish in the deck, you can give Realm haste and Dole forward.
Yeah,
there's a Corel. I saw a Corel.
Corel can kind of work too, just by being large enough to both get around, Braska or the first strike from Furion. This definitely.
First strike versus first strike. This beats the Furion.
Correct. So as long as he attacks like that, he should be safe. This is looking like it may be game here. It was a smart line to go for Richard, thinking through all his options, realizing I may be able to. Yep, and of course that Furion being the most important card on his opponent's side of the field. And, reading it closely, making sure he knows what's going to happen. But Richard does not realize that he does not have to worry about it, but is correct to be worried.
I think if Richard's like super worried, I think you attack with just one forward. Like attack with a 9, like probably the Shadow Lord.
Yep, start with the Shadow Lord and then just
that should
keep
give
poking
you
biggest attackers one at a time.
That'll give you the knowledge, because if JR does do anything, honestly, then you should know, like permission, right? You should know what you can and can't do.
Okay, so he's going to go ahead and pop it on the Realm. Given what is left in JR's hand, I assumed that's kind of what was going to happen, which is Nebraska went ahead and fired off. This is probably what Richard was expecting. He is going to get as many cards out of his opponent's hand as possible to limit his options. And then here comes Lycurgus to probably tap down something. And then he's going to be pushing for game. This is definitely a spot where JR knows he's dead, but he's giving his opponent a chance to make a misplay. It's definitely correct to do so. You don't know what your opponent could be doing, so this is his last card. I assume JR is probably going to be thinking about, do I go ahead and just pop this Corel to keep the Noctis alive? Yep.
Yeah.
Just as one extra attacker.
Yeah, I think it's free to do so.
Yep. He's just weighing all his options. Looks like he's gonna pull the trigger on that.
Yeah, it works either way, right? Actually, no, it doesn't, because you'd have 3 attackers if you let the Noctis die. Okay, well. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he only has the 3 attackers.
It works either way.
Yeah, his opponent loses a blocker, so.
Yeah.
Oh, so this should be game right here. Once again, just trying to give his opponent the chance to misplay. And attacks for lethal. And EX Burst gets to remove the last guy. But great game by both players. Richard coming out on top. Now 5-0 with the Emmett combo. It's fantastic. It was a really fun match to watch.
Oh my goodness.
You a little happy? You're like regretting the fact that you're not there being Richard right now?
You don't even know. actually, you probably know more than anybody.
I do know.
Luminous Puma
that was fun.
Is in a competitive deck. Luminous Puma is in a competitive deck.
Yeah, I got some Japanese foils right behind me.
Yo, I got some chapters Pumas back.
Okay,
back
well,
there.
I don't know if you can play those. But...
I don't even know if they're the same ability. I'm not gonna lie.
But they're a cat.
Somewhere I have a Puma deck box actually.
Oh yeah, you do have that one.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Jellyfish Guy actually for that, right?
Yeah.
He was the one
he's the one who made it. Yeah.
And you get to play Jellyfish in the deck too. Who doesn't like fish?
But so what I'm curious about with the Emmett combo deck is just like, so obviously it was a little bit slow that game because it got interacted with, but what I'm curious about is when it wants to play slow, can it play slow? Can you make it like a mono earth mid-range style deck, right? Like I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but and I also don't know how many cards you have to commit to the like the combo. But like imagine a world where you can play like 1 CP Leo in the deck, right? And still cast like all your cards. It doesn't have to be Warrior Light. You can cast all your cards. You can cast the Renoa off your backups. You can cast Regis. Like that's pretty relevant, I feel like. I don't know how tight the deck list is, but that's kind of where my brain's going towards.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm still just kind of in shock just watching some of those turn pop-offs. It definitely felt like watching Leo go off again, or honestly, to an extent, even like the old Luke with Riku, definitely a little bit more clean than that Riku Luke was.
Yeah,
back in the day.
It's also like a creature combo deck where you need 2 forwards in play, right? So it's a little bit more vulnerable. Also, with the monster interactions, you can get blown out and lose all your resources, things like that. So it's interesting because I'm curious how much is going to change and evolve. I remember somebody in the chat earlier today mentioned if this combo takes off, then a lot of water decks might start playing the Lev that cancels action abilities, right? That can you imagine? That would be such a blowout.
That would definitely be a thing that I wouldn't have expected to have seen for quite a while, but I mean that card could be a pretty big blowout, as they mentioned.
Yeah, like you just lose both your forwards because it's a cost. That'd be crazy.
Absolutely. All right. I think our video's cut out there for a second. I think we're still live talking. Test. Oh yeah, we're still there. Okay. So if now that we have a second, definitely going through the game, it was all fantastic. But I normally do trivia. I just happened to be typing up some of my trivia questions. So I got I picked out some of the fun ones for you from some of these last few weeks of trivia. People at home, maybe if you like trivia, maybe you don't. I don't know. Here's some fun trivia questions. We'll see if you know this one, KP. So an astronomical unit is a unit of measurement based on the average distance between what 2 things?
I have no idea.
So it's a space astronomical unit. So think of 2 things that has an average distance to be used in measurement. Take a stab. See if everybody in chat knows.
The first thing I was thinking about was like orbits, but the things with the orbits is that like it's not the same distance.
Exactly. So this is why this goes based on the average. So you're on the right track.
Because I was thinking like Earth of the Moon or like planet to planet, whatever it is.
Right there, really close.
I mean, it could be stars, but I don't think it's stars.
You said Earth and Moon, maybe not Earth and Moon, Earth and...
The Sun?
Yep. Yeah, so it's the average distance between the Earth and the Sun. Yeah.
Oh, we got one person in chat that got it.
Yeah. Okay, here's another fun one. What is this for all the Shark Week lovers, right? What is the fastest shark? I'm sure anybody who actually watches Shark Week.
I'm not even. I would just be guessing random sharks.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. It is Final Fantasy VII related.
7?
Final Fantasy VII related.
All right, the fastest shark is Kisame Hoshigaki.
Okay, that's a pretty fast shark. The fastest shark in our world, though, is a Mako shark. You get it? It's a FF7 shark.
Mako Tsunami, bro.
Okay, that's the card game player. All right. Here's another one that I didn't get. This one I actually really like this question. Humans can see more shades of this color than any other color.
Red? It's not red, is it?
No, it's not red. My guess was actually blue for the opposite reason of red. I was thinking like infrared, something we can't normally see. Maybe it's different shades of blue.
Yeah, I was thinking it was red or blue, literally because of like the cop stuff on,
Yeah, no.
the lights from cops.
So think of it more from an evolutionary perspective, and us like back as more primitive people. What color would we see a lot of, and we would need to distinguish between small variations, like when we're foraging.
Green? Really?
Yep.
It's green.
It's green.
Wow.
Yeah, I would not have guessed it either, but yeah, turns out humans can see
Viridian,
more shades of viridian than any other shade of color. Yeah, it's just some fun little facts. All right, I'll leave you with a last one.
All right.
Which one do I pick? How about this one? What are pennies primarily made out of?
Is it copper? Is it not copper?
See, that's the thing, is everybody always just wants to say copper.
I know.
It's not been copper for a long time. The reason being is because copper is actually expensive, and people would literally file down pennies to steal the copper. So. But no, it has been replaced with a different metal. And somebody, our good buddy from Kansas, in fact, has already gotten the answer in chat. Mr. Wiseman is a very wise man indeed.
Yeah, I heard about that whole melting thing, right? I'm like, is that really happening? Like, I had no idea.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hey, if you can make $1 out of a penny, that's just good business right there, right?
Well, sure. Yeah. It's also illegal. I mean,
hey, we're not saying we did it.
That's interesting. Honestly, I'm on that boat of we could probably just get rid of the penny, honestly. But
yeah, I think they did the math on it like 5 years ago or so. A little bit either before or right during the pandemic, where they were doing the math on how worthwhile the pennies are in our system, and they to an extent realized that we're almost losing money on just making more pennies at this point, because they're so irrelevant to our actual currency, but they take so much time and effort to make. I find that absolutely hilarious that we're literally losing money by making money.
yeah, I think that was the case with copper and stuff. So I remember reading something about that too in the past.
Yeah, it's like it's our lowest denomination. It really doesn't matter. Just round everything up to 5 cents. Call it a day. Honestly, just get rid of pennies and nickels. We'll move it up.
So I'm trying to think about like nationals here, and
What are you gonna go with that?
yeah, probably
With your couple round buys or so?
yeah, and I don't know if I actually haven't paid too much attention to the announcements, to be honest, but I think it's assumed that it's going to be a 2-deck format, right?
Yeah.
And somebody asked on Twitter about 2-deck format rules and how limit break works, and it's the same as your normal deck. Like, you can't share cards, and I wonder how much that's going to impact 2-deck format, because
Titus
cards like Leo, Titus, Cloud,
Luna
all the
Freya,
ice cards, yeah,
all the water ones.
So
even the new Earth ones, you only have the Toto and Noctis.
Back in my day, when me and my team were playing, like, we played Mono Fire and Fire Ice in 2019, I think.
Yep.
It was like 75, 74 some fire cards, like a ton. If Limit Break exists back then, we could not do that.
No.
Now we have that additional limitation. That's kind of tough. It's going to be kind of interesting.
You have to actually
how
diversify the decks. A deck like 4-color Wool especially if you're playing like the good stuff variant, you really are hamstringing yourself on your other deck. You're pretty much left Ice Lightning, and that's it.
Yeah, like,
which honestly, I mean, maybe is pretty viable. We don't see any here. I know it was of talk in the last Materia Cup, but in the new format, I'm a little surprised we didn't see almost anyone on Ice Lightning for this event.
Yeah, I think Ice Lightning is one of those things that, look, I'm a hater, all right?
You?
I don't believe in Ice Lightning. I think it's extremely narrow. And when I say that, I mean, like, it's good against wind, it's good against decks that care about their backups, and it's good against, like, it's the anti-aggro deck, right? But if it faces literally anything else, you probably lose. And that's, I think, the issue I have with Ice Lightning is bringing that to a tournament. It literally is kind of like coin flipping. So until they have that kind of gap, like, think about, like, oh, you play against like mono earth, you're probably going to lose. Play against mono water, you're probably going to lose. You play against a control deck, you're probably going to lose. Like, I think there's a lot of tier 3 decks that it loses to, and that's not okay. I wouldn't want to bring that to a competitive tournament. Now, that being said, if the majority of the room is good matchups, like 70-80% of the room is good matchups because of popular decks, then yeah, maybe it's a good call, but you're still kind of rolling the dice. But in theory, you're rolling the dice with every deck, right? You have bad matchups with every deck. It's just, I normally don't like bringing decks that
have, like, unwinnable matchups.
Yes, and also lose to like tier 3-ish decks.
Yeah, you want to be able to play something that feels good against, like, the widespread.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that also Ice Lightning is one of those color combinations that I feel like has not lost, but it never really gained card advantage. I mean, you have Cypher and Adia now, I guess, but like you're
more so on the negative card advantage side, right?
Yes, both players, it's taking card advantage from both players, but now that Limit Break exists, it's less effective. And
yeah, leaving your opponent to top deck was a little bit more damaging back when we didn't have these extra 8 cards that were in our hand all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very interesting. Like, I don't know exactly what it needs, but I would want just a little bit more for me personally to play with Ice Lightning. But it's interesting.
What if Ice got like a, I don't know, 3 CP draw 3?
In what context? 3 CP draw 3?
Yeah. I'm trying to give you card advantage back. I mean, let's say it's a 1K, just something, just to be card positive. Could that draw you into Ice Lightning? Just that one card, or would it need to be like a full overhaul kind of thing?
I think Mono Ice Aggro would be insane with like a 3 CP draw 3. All right, it looks like we got Matt Highline again.
Absolutely.
I believe he was Water Lightning with like Odin's.
Yep.
And we got Justin on, it looks like a Turbo Chaos.
Turbo. Yeah, he calls it a meme, but he's doing pretty well with it.
Yeah.
It seems like, I believe he is 4-1 currently.
I think these players 4-1.
Yeah, these players are playing for a better spot in top cut. They should both, depending on tiebreakers, be good for top cut, but never want to count anything for sure when it comes to tiebreakers. So whoever wins is for sure looking good in top cut, and whoever loses maybe pulling up the bottom of the top cut chart. But of course, we do always want to play for those higher seeds. Higher seed does get to play draw option in top cut, so that's very big in the current format.
Yeah, I think I just did a little
we get to see the Pikachu.
Oh, the Pikachu.
We love it, Justin. Yeah. this for us.
That's great.
It is adorable. It looks like it's got like a felt outside or something. It's very soft. And honestly, I'm kind of impressed that he's just managed to keep it clean too for how like
yeah,
for how like
oh
it does look nice. It looks soft.
yeah, it does look soft.
That's a good one. I really love how creative people have gotten with their deck boxes. You know, of course, I've got you know, like my 2B deck box right over here.
Yep. Oh, I got mine over here too. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Mine's actually in arm's reach.
I got my Chinese food deck box over here too.
Yep.
So yeah, I big respect on, you know, putting people's personality out on those deck boxes and enjoying them. Always a good conversation starter when you sit at the table. Like, you know,
just doing,
I always like being able to just compliment my opponent's supplies.
Doing
right
quick
before
math.
They thrash me.
Doing quick math on the top 16 turnout here. All X1s are going to make it. So you're going to have 1 undefeated, 6 X1, and 15 X2. Roughly around that. So about half of, or a little bit more than half of the X2s will make it. But that's, you still do not want to be in that.
Yeah,
like,
you don't want to be, you know, crossing your fingers to make top cut.
Yeah.
All right, and we're underway. So Matt has started with, I think this is literally the exact same way he started out the game earlier. Elena pitching a lightning. But now we get to see what Justin's going to do. Turn 1, Larsa. I bet I can tell you what he's going to do. It starts with C and it
which
rhymes
chaos is it going to
with
get?
Mayos.
Earth chaos? Full art, yeah. Let's go.
Is that full art of the new? Yeah, okay. It looks a little weird upside down. Hard to tell the art. Does look very good full art though.
So what Justin's going to try and do, I don't know if he has any more. He does have 1 chaos in his hand. I don't know if he has 2. What he's going to try to do is play the chaos on the stack, holding priority, special a few times, as many times as he can. Probably not 4 because you'd deck out.
Yeah.
And get a Fujin and a Raijin into play because he's going to mill himself. After that, it just depends. It looked like he had a Gilgamesh FFBE in his hand as well.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
So he will most likely mill all 7 colors in his deck and have that access to push things out of the way. Also, this is one of those decks that your limit break's really good. So part of the reason why in Kansas I played that Wall 7 deck with FF8 is because of the limit break, like Cloud, Victoria, Surges. all those push cards out of the way. Now you have Kuja too. This deck has access to all those cards, including some water cards too. So this deck has a lot of reach, and
Here
we're gonna
comes
see how it
chaos.
goes.
So one thing that holding priority. Okay, go ahead and resolve this. One thing I'm a little hesitant seeing on that is that he actually tutored out the Aranea. I almost just wanted to leave it in that first because that could hit the Fujin or Raijin.
It might be the last Dragoon, as we discarded Kane.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely a possibility. All right, so we're milling. Looks like we has hard missed on our first 10 on almost anything of relevance. There's a Fujin, there's a Raijin. We're loaded up. There are definitely enough Chaoses and monsters in the bin to trigger Chaos' effect. So now we're going to trigger Fujin's effect, get another Chaos, and another monster. We definitely have way more than 5. We're going to make our opponent discard 2 cards. And then first we're going to take damage. Uh-oh. And it's actually really relevant which one we hit there. So we actually hit the Raijin, which is going to cut out the haste. Very detrimental for Justin. And here comes the 5 removed, which will then make Matt discard 2.
So he has Gilgamesh and Ice Card in his hand, by the way.
And definitely has correct colors. With a Warrior of Light and all this Ace Lightning.
I just want you to know,
Chaos.
like, if he had that Raijin in play, I'm assuming there's 7.
Oh yeah, there's definitely 7.
We can do 7 in this turn if Raijin was in play.
So I find it interesting we're holding and not just going to go ahead and play the Gilgamesh.
I think
maybe
we
we
push
didn't
Gilgamesh in his hand.
Okay, maybe we didn't have the ice. Okay.
No, there's ice. I think it's Prish.
Okay. He knows the RNA is his opponent's hand. Maybe he's playing around that. I still think I almost just go ahead and get the damage in.
But it would be a 2-for-1. Unless you... I don't think I attack 3 times. If I do that, I attack twice, right?
Yeah, I think that's fine. The bigger thing about attacking twice also is it locks down the backups.
Yeah, if you attack 3 times, then you just probably lose.
Yeah. But attacking twice seems like it would be relatively safe, and locking down those backups is essentially making Matt discard an extra card. So he does pick Reeve off the Luna Freya, gets a mystery card. Looks like he has 5 in hand still, has the Luna Freya. Although, setting up for lethal on this next turn is pretty straightforward too, because now the Gilgamesh, when it comes out, it can just lock down anything that Matt would play. Matt may not be thinking that he's as dead as he is here.
There's a Kuchulin in there. Gilgamesh. Oh, he's not taking it either. Yeah, I think he doesn't think he's dead.
He does have a Lev 6 in hand, but he cannot play it. So he may be in for a rude awakening with this Gilgamesh on Justin's turn.
Yeah, I agree. He chose... There's a Kuchulin in that 3 from the Reeve, and he chose not to take it. That to me does signal that he doesn't think he's dead. So...
Oh, no.
We'll see.
Yep. We're definitely about to find out exactly where Justin's going to go with this.
Warlay, Ice, Lightning, and Dark, yeah.
Yep, he's triple checking the count. He is good to go. Yep, pitch Prish, Gilgamesh down. I think he put the Prish on top of his deck.
Yeah, I think he did too. It's fine though.
Oh my goodness! That was the burst to have happen. Holy cow.
Yep.
That was the spot. Wow. See, we did not realize that Matt just happened to know the card on top of his deck.
Yeah, there we go. Just will it to the top.
Yeah, as long as you can will Lev 6 to the top of your deck against this Turbo Chaos, you're in a pretty good spot. So Luna Freya is still tapped. The Gilgamesh is still in his opponent's hand, so he's still in a very dicey spot. But now he at least knows what's coming. He can maybe plan around that. It does look like he has a Kuchulain still in. No. Okay, playing a Thordan. Gotta go get something that deals with this Gilgamesh. A Raijin of his own? I actually don't remember what this Raijin does. I know he played it earlier.
Cypher Haste.
Okay. Not sure if that's...
There's a Cypher in his hand.
Yeah, but we really need to... Oh, maybe he's thinking he can play the Irving in hand as well? And get... No, because he'll be out of cards. Right?
What could have happened is we could have searched for an Irvine and played with Irvine and had special for the Gilgamesh. That's something that could have happened.
That's what I was thinking, but that's not what's happening. So Cypher's in play. We milled 2. We got back in a Dea. And we killed the Fujin. But we're still dead to a Gilgamesh here, right? We know opponent has it.
Yep. You got to be able to play it.
He does have to be able to play it. That is a fair spot to put your opponent on. Maybe in your crazy, nonsensical, multicolored deck, you do not draw the ice card. And
I'm curious if Justin. Why'd I say Nolan? I saw Nolan in the bottom right corner. I'm curious if Justin is going to count literally every single ice card that's visible and doing the burst check. Yeah, that's a thing too, right? Like, because at this point, I think Justin has one more push Like if a burst happens to kill the Gilgamesh, the game's probably over. I think this is the last hurrah. Now, I personally still think Justin's pretty favored, but it is that spot of, you know, once this happens, you're done. It's over.
Keep trying to get a glimpse into the hand of seeing. I think it's a Warrior of Light, a Raijin, and then the Gilgamesh, and then 2 monsters. So there is no ice card currently in hand. You can play out one of the monsters, see if he can draw an ice card. I think that is in fact what he's doing here, is doing the math on all the ice cards.
Yep.
There's a lot of ice down, for sure. There's one in EX Burst. There's one in chat brings up a good point. Noctis could bring back the ice. I believe he has a Noctis in his EX Burst, or in his Limit Break. Yep, he does. There it is. Okay, so it looks like we are going to get back that ice. And we're probably just slamming the Gilgamesh here and praying to dodge some EX Burst. Gilgamesh for a Gilgamesh.
You better be careful, your cat's gonna come crawling to you.
That's true. That's true. Where is he? Hey, buddy. You're a good boy.
Sam's cat's name is Gilgamesh.
Oh no! Okay, so we did turn off the Gilgamesh. Oh my goodness. We did very, very intelligently turn off the Cypher for this next turn, so at least we don't have like a guaranteed way of killing the Gilgamesh, but he does still have the Adea in hand, so that actually deals with the Gilgamesh anyways. Oh, this is actually putting Justin in a really rough spot. These EX bursts have been very timely and very relevant. That was about the best EX burst that could have happened. Not 100% sure if he did draw off the burst. Okay, it did. It happened so fast. Matt was so happy just to see that burst. I would need to. It saved his life.
His only card was Adea, and then he went up to 4 cards. So that's the first draw.
Okay, and Hooded Man, Warrior of Light at home. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the Cane. Untap draw. This is a pretty good spot for Matt. And we did mention before, one of the biggest things for the Turbo Chaos deck is just being unlucky against some of these bursts, and Justin has been unlucky. 2 of the most relevant bursts that he could have seen.
And that's an Irvine. So we have 3 attackers here.
So this should keep Gilgamesh from coming back with every color here. Milling 2, gonna kill the Gilgamesh in play. With Adea's effect. Looks like we're gonna remove a Lightning and an Odin and tap down. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Can't attack with the Adea.
Yeah, we have 4 attackers though.
We do need to be careful still.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Don't get cheesed out.
Adea cannot attack. Yep. Make sure.
Yeah, Adea cannot attack yet.
There's that. Is he going to? Oh wow, he sent the Luna Freya too. He says, "I am not scared."
Surges?
Surges and a Haster.
No, the Noctis is tax. Oh,
sorry, he's
5.
only at
it's
5. Yeah, he
okay,
needs to go at 6. So, unfortunately, he does not have only 2 cards in hand, or 3 cards in hand now.
Gilgamesh with 5 colors good enough?
It is, but don't think we have that. Looks like a Chaos, a Tonberry, and a Buckaboo. So our hand is kind of all over the place, color-wise, as we kind of expect from the Gilgamesh deck. I think our best line here is play Surges, freeze, Cypher, pitch 2, maybe play a Mott if we have it. Probably play Surges, freeze the Cypher, play a Leo. See if we can buy a turn. Oh, we pitched the Ice first. Now we won't have Ice for Surges. Definitely think we need the Surges to freeze. We drew the Warrior of Light, but get the color back, but I don't think that's really relevant. I think these bursts have definitely saved Matt from looking down a pretty rough spot.
If we had a haste forward here, we could use the Dark Chaos in our breaks. Yeah, the Earth Chaos to remove to kill this. But right now we only have one. So that's a kill spell. Technically one of those should be...
Oh, so we went ahead, got our extra point of damage, and realized we were dead. So we're going to go ahead and scoop it up. Turbo Chaos almost got there, got sniped out of victory position from a couple of very, very timely bursts. That was wild. That was pretty gripping because it definitely looked like Justin just kind of had it, but the Cooch Lane and the Lev 6 on the first attack on both of them too, right? You know, the Gilgamesh was going to attack 3 times both of those situations, and the Chaos was in play. Oh, it was some devastating bursts against Justin, but that is definitely how Matt built his deck, right? To have that critical mass of bursts, be able to deal with a board like that.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's kind of what you sign up for with these tournaments, right? It's just like, I mean, I kind of said it earlier when we were talking about Chaos. It's like, it's Chaos versus EX burst, right? And yep. That's kind of what happened. I personally still feel like the Chaos deck is favored in that scenario, but man, is the game so swingy when a burst happens, like the Lev 6, right? Yep. How many bursts in a row happened for Matt that, like, if it didn't happen, the game was over? Because, like,
I think the Cooch Lane
Justin
alone,
got
right?
him
Like,
to 6.
The game was just over as long as a Cooch Lane or a Lev 6 didn't happen there on that last on that burst.
I mean,
and
we
honestly,
also killed
even
the
on
Raijin.
the first one. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, like, any of those, that's all. Every single burst was saving a point of damage. So,
absolutely. Well, killing the Raijin actually saved 2 points of damage.
It did, yeah. So, just think about it that way. It's like, you know, the Water Lightning deck had to hit all of that to win. One less, and they lose. But, you know, like that to me kind of shows the strength of this Chaos deck, and how much your deck construction has to respect it, because everything has to go right, or else you just lose. So,
yeah. Alternatively, you know, from the Turbo Chaos players' perspective, I'm sure that's got to be very frustrating. Where you kind of have victory within your grasp. It is there. It is literally just up to the top deck of the opponent to hit those EX bursts, and Matt's deck pulled through for him, and that definitely, you know, we'll definitely see Matt in top cut. Hopefully we can still see Justin in top cut, but he'll definitely be a little lower down in the bracket than if he had not seen those bursts. All right, well, and that does conclude our round 6. So we will have final standings up shortly. Get our top 16 calculated. Definitely a good number of players still finishing up the round, but after this round is completed, we will get top 16, go over some of the top decks for tomorrow, and kind of tune back in. We'll give you guys a quick little break here right before we come back for top 16. And thanks everybody for tuning in, and hope everybody's been enjoying the games. This was the last game of the stream. There will be we'll come back shortly with top 16 list.
Thanks for watching.
All right, and thanks everybody for staying tuned. We do have our top cut was just announced. Those players will be getting ready for tomorrow. I'm going to get the list right here. But just as a quick recap of the day, I know KP and I both were interested to see, some turbo X-Death, or not X-Death, Chaos. So we did see Richard, who was that last turbo player, managed to squeak in at 16th. So as we mentioned, it was going to be a very kind of dicey whether he would make it in. He did squeeze in. Moving up from that, Will Coghill in there. I can't remember what he's on. Catherine, we do see her. We saw her in round 2. Managed to take down the Neo X-Death player. She's on Knights. Angelo, we also saw today. I believe he was on the Lightning. I think it was Lightning Water. Alexander Noel, Moon Weinhardt, Joseph Miner, Justin. Justin, of course, we saw as well. Sam Prime, Milo Mosquera, Jeff Curran, also on Turbo Chaos, Matthew Highline, Marcus Julin, and of course our top 2 here was Ryan Chen and Sergio Garcia, who were undefeated going into that last round, and they will be able to get their choice on play draw tomorrow. So it looks like quite a tough top 16. A lot of really good players. Be a bunch of interesting decks. Not sure what we'll be bringing to you first round, but I'm sure it will be exciting. Definitely look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. Thanks once again for tuning in, and thanks to all the staff, judges, and everybody over at Epic Games for getting this all together for us. And look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a good one.
Once again, thank you very much for tuning in. We are Epic Gaming PDX, a card store and venue space here in Portland, Oregon. A big shout out and thank you, of course, to Sam and KP for bringing us wonderful commentary all day long. We will hopefully, see you again tomorrow. We are aiming to start by 11:30, so same bat time, same bat channel. We'll hope to see you there again tomorrow for our top 16. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.